Hello everybody, my name is Joseph Tuttamore. I am an interested individual on actually coming to your school and applying and being a great teacher and educator for your guys' Christian school. Today I'm actually going to run through a couple different things. We're going to hit a little bit of math, a little bit of history. One thing that I really like about being able to teach math is being able to really get onto the same aspects of what the kids can learn and be able to pertain and be able to uh, have the knowledge of being able to remember the things that we're trying to teach them. So being able to break it down to things that they're going to remember, such as when we're going to be getting into the order of operations within algebra, algebra 1, algebra 2, things that you're going to carry on throughout upper level math, it's important to remember the words pendus. And the words pendus in the orders of operation P stands for parentheses, E stands for exponents, M stands for multiply, D stands for divide, A stands for addition, S stands for subtraction. Now, going through college, and they taught us many different ways to be able to remember this. One thing that I like to be able to remember it as praying extends my devotion and salvation. So when we're going through a problem that has parentheses, exponents, and everything that's all being worked into one, we have to remember the orders of operation. So parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction, or praying extends my devotion and salvation. Now when we're looking into doing something like this, when we're looking at an example, give me 1 second here while I switch out my board. Now the great thing about being able to remember it like this is that within the realm that we are teaching at, we're going to be able to really do a hybrid outlook of what we're trying to teach the children. So if we have an algebraic equation such as 2 plus 6 minus parentheses 14 plus 24 divided by 2. So when we're remembering our orders of operations, parentheses, we have to remember that we're going to have to do the parentheses first. So when we're doing the parentheses first, that's going to be our first step. Everything else will carry down. So step number 1. So remember that these will carry down. 2 plus 6 minus, so we're going to add 14 and 24 together. That's going to give us 38, and divided by 2. So next step in the whole thing is remember praying extends my devotion and salvation. So we forgot the 2 here. So the next step in the process is going to be the division. So that's here. So that's our next step. The other two, the first part of the problem will carry down. 2 plus 6 minus 38 divided by 2. That'd be 19. So this is just a regular basic math problem now, since we have broken it down to just addition and subtraction. Now remember, we're going to do addition first. So 2 plus 6 is 8 minus 19. So the rules of negative whole numbers still apply here. So as we're taking a smaller number into a bigger number, we're going to end up having negative 11 as our final answer. Now when we are looking into exponents and everything first, that's where we tend to get a little mixed up as it gets a little bit more difficult. But once again, it's just another step. It's fairly simple to look past a step such as that. We just have to remember our orders of operation. Remembering that praying extends my devotion and salvation while we're walking through the steps to ensure that we are doing everything correctly. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And we're keeping everything right in the realm of math, because sometimes the math gods don't like it when you have things that go out of order because they don't work out the way that they should. So if we had 4 to the second power plus 8 minus 6 to the third power times 2. Okay? Now, as we know, parentheses in the world of math means multiplication. So once again, we are going to do the parentheses first. So our parentheses are our first step that we have to accomplish. Everything else will carry down. So 4 to the second power plus 8 minus 6 is 2. So it would be 2 to the third power times 2. Okay? So our next step is going to be the exponent. So 2 to the third power is 3 times 3, which is 9. 9 for that one. 4 times 2 is 16. And minus 2. Oh, not minus 2. Still multiplying by 2. So once again, the next step of order operation, we're looking at getting rid of the multiplication, because PEM is going to be 18 plus 16. So, excuse me. Your total for the roundabout is going to be 34. And that's how you solve a math problem with exponents and parentheses with multiple factors of different math equations in there. One thing that I really pride myself on that I have accomplished in my life is really getting to travel abroad. I spent 2 years working on cruise ships, and I worked as a director of entertainment and a DJ on cruise ships. So I've been all around the world, from Alaska to Japan. I've learned about a lot of different cultures. I was raised Catholic, very big time in my faith. And one thing I really want to touch on today to be able to help the students of the school is really touching on the Vatican and how the Vatican City, located within Italy, it is actually the smallest country in the world. It's encompassed with a 2-mile border within Italy, covers only 100 acres, making it 1/8 of the size of New York Central Park. Its government is an absolute monarchy that the Pope is the head of the whole civilization there. But the Vatican City isn't just something that stands tall within the last hundreds and hundreds of years. It goes back all the way before the AD. It is important to know the history of the ADs along with present times, that we are able to actually give each student the best possible outlook within when it comes to history and geography. In 1277, a half-mile passage was built to actually link the Tiber River and the Vatican City together, so they actually have a way to have trades come into the actual city itself. The Swiss Army was hired as a mercenary force in the 1500s by Pope Julius II. Swiss Army inside of the Italian border. It kind of caused a little bit of conflicts, but the Swiss Army was the one that was willing to obey and listen to the Pope at the time to ensure the safety of Vatican City. The popes actually did not live in the Vatican until after the 14th century. A lot of people nowadays know that the Pope lives within the big Vatican to ensure that he is ensuring the whole head of the role of the whole civilization. When the new Pope is elected, they get the smoke that comes out of the smokestack to ensure that everybody around knows that the new Pope has been elected, so we know who the new leader is. 60 years in the 1800s and 1900s, the Pope refused to actually leave the Vatican. It's well known now that the Pope will actually lead the Vatican to actually go out and congregate among the people, not just in Italy, but all around the world, and actually brings people together just to be able to see a glimpse of him. Now, I've actually been to the Vatican, and it is one of the most beautiful sights you'll ever see in your life. It is breathtaking when you walk in, and you see this big monument. I mean, of course you smell nothing but food in the air because it's Italy and it smells so great. But you walk in, you see this big monument, and it's actually the Roman Emperor Caligula that brought the obelisk to the Vatican, and this is actually the rite of passage to be able to come into the Vatican. That as soon as you walk into the entryway, that this is something that you see. Along with the obelisk, you also have one of the oldest, most ancient tombs in history that people know about, which is St. Peter. His tomb's actually located right there in Vatican City, and that was there from the Great Fire that leveled most of Rome back in AD 64. So as you can see, the Great Fire from AD 64 all the way to the present time, these things are still available for us to be able to see and be able to accomplish and see with our own eyes and be able to take in and enjoy. And it's important to ensure that we are letting our younger generation know these things so they get a grasp of being able to want to go visit these places. Because if us as educators don't relay the message of how beautiful this place is, I was breathtaking being able to walk through the Vatican and being able to learn about more culture than what I can see on a TV show, to be able to actually go visit and set my foot on the same grounds that a lot of our popes walked on, was a great pleasure. So that is my time for today, and I'd like to thank you guys for watching my video, and I hope you guys have had a great weekend. Once again, my name is Joseph Tuttamore. I'm applying for a teaching position within your school, and I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you very much.